Hi there, welcome once again to the Dukascopy TV studio. I'm Ben Jones. Alongside me to discuss voluntary disclosure in Switzerland is Denis Berdoz. Denis, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you to you.
Now, a change may be on the horizon for Swiss taxpayers as the Swiss Parliament are currently debating whether or not to place a waiver on bank secrecy. Can you discuss this debate, why this is and what the aim is?
Yeah, this is correct. I think in the last few years, the situation with respect to bank secrecy changed substantially. You know, in 2009, the Federal Council decided that Switzerland would in the future exchange information, not only in case of tax frauds, but also for the proper application of tax conventions. And more recently, the Federal Council also decided to adhere to the OECD Convention on the automatic exchange of information. So we have a situation where banks exchange information with foreign tax authorities, but in Switzerland, taxpayers are still fully protected unless in cases of tax fraud. So we have a kind of different situation domestically and internationally, and the debate is now starting saying why shouldn't we just align to what we are doing at the international level, and probably sooner or later the decision will have to be taken.
Now, what's in place currently for those Swiss taxpayers that do choose to voluntarily disclose their assets? What's available for them?
Yeah. I think the fact that the banking secrecy may be waived, you know, sooner or later in Switzerland raises the issue about undeclared funds, and probably a change of the situation with respect to bank secrecy would probably mean an amnesty, or a more generous amnesty that we have today. Today, a taxpayer, be it a company or a legal entity or an individual, can decide to voluntarily disclose assets or revenues that were not disclosed in the past. So it's a relatively simple procedure. You just have to write to the tax authorities and make a full disclosure of your assets and revenues. And what the tax authorities will do is compute retroactively the taxes for the last 10 years. We have a very long period of the statute of limitation, and the taxes will have to be paid at the normal rate, so no gift in that respect. Late interest would also be charged and payable. The only thing is that taxpayers do not get fined for, you know, not having disclosed, and that's the main advantage of the voluntary disclosure. If they are caught by the tax authorities, the penalties can be relatively high, from 1/3 of the taxes evaded up to 3 times the taxes evaded. This is, by the way, only one time possibility that you have. Then you have to be fully cooperative. You should not have done it already in the past. And if you do a second voluntary disclosure, then you can still do it, but there would be a penalty of 20% of the taxes saved for the second time. So.
Okay, now what's the situation for an heir inheriting undisclosed assets from a Swiss taxpayer?
In this respect, the situation is different, because first of all, the heirs cannot be penalized in terms of penalties or fines for wrongdoings of their parents or whoever. And then in that case, if the deceased has undisclosed funds, the heirs, or each one individually or collectively, can again file for a voluntary disclosure. In that time, the tax administration would only go back 3 years instead of 10 years if these taxpayers do it itself, and they would assess taxes, cantonal, federal, cantonal wealth tax, for the 3 last years. So the go-back period is much shorter, and if they don't do it and they are caught again, they may be asked to pay for their parents' taxes for the last 10 years. And of course, by not declaring themselves, they are placing themselves in a kind of illegal position by pursuing the situation that their parents or whoever created.
Okay, and very briefly, finally, do you think the Swiss Parliament will make a change with regards to secrecy?
It's difficult. They are really, it's a very sensitive debate. You have obviously a portion of the population clearly in favor. You have a portion against. I think probably sooner or later, maybe later than sooner, we will have to adapt and align to what we are doing at the international level. And the question of the amnesty, you know, a facilitated voluntary disclosure with some tax relief would be raised again, and that's again to be a very hot debate. Each time that was debated, you know, this was extremely difficult debate. In Geneva, we had to vote in 2011. We refused a more generous amnesty. The canton of Jura has one. The canton of Ticino just decided one. Fribourg may implement one because the cantons, for the cantonal taxes, are free to be more generous than what the federal law provides for.
Denis, thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for watching. Do make sure you keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV as we bring you plenty more updates and exclusive interviews. Bye for now.